Outstanding.
Welcome back.
That's a good
Love Boat Project, episode 52. Mike, it's the season 3 episode, season premiere. With me, as always, my co-host Mike Robertson. Ahoy, Mike.
Now this is how you start a season.
Yes.
This episode was everything that the season 2 opener was not, my friend. So
it's like the complete opposite. It's amazing.
Grandeur, new credits,
Buffets,
weddings, villains,
multiple villains, even
coats, heavy coats,
glaciers, smooches. Come on.
So many glaciers.
I tend to jump ahead, but I'm not going to do that this time because I'm a pro now, Mike. It's season 3.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're seasoned veterans.
Love Boat season 3, episode 1 and 2. This is a 2-parter. Episode is called The Alaska Wedding Cruise. Carol and Doug, Peter and Alicia, Poor Julie, and Buddy and Portia.
Did they call it Poor Julie?
No, that's just me. They should. There's so many twists of the knife that I'll point out later. Like it's just
a slow moving car wreck.
No wonder. We won't say that.
It's just funny. We'll get to it. I know, but hey, Julie had like one great moment last season. Let's untie it real quick.
Original air date on this masterpiece was 9/15/1979. Only half kidding when I say masterpiece, because Mike, I really, really enjoyed this episode.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. This is what I'll say. This is what an opener should be. It's also what these 2-parters should be. If you're gonna do this, you can't just have a regular episode with one extra story, right? This felt like those Facts of Life, Family Ties movies we used to joke about, where they go somewhere else. And I'm pretty sure this boat goes other places throughout the years now.
I mean,
and if this is the template, I am down with it. So,
I mean, theoretically, anywhere with water, Mike,
like
Hawaii, maybe,
like Mars. I
mean, something to think about it, at least.
Mars boat.
So this was on from 9 to 11 on September 15th. Mike, my new favorite segment is what else is on? What else was on that night? 2 movies, Mike. Keep it real simple.
Oh, we don't even get like season premieres of other shows?
Nothing.
Boo. Come on, other networks.
2 movies. A TV movie and a movie.
Okay.
TV movie on CBS at 9 p.m. TV movie, The Paradise Connection. Okay. A famous Chicago criminal lawyer arrives in Maui searching for his son who has run away from a promising legal career and may be involved in drug smuggling.
Wow.
Okay. Starring
Dennis Farina,
Buddy Epson, Brian Kerwin, and Paul Lambert. Buddy Epson. Yeah.
Buddy Epson as the hard Scrabble Chicago attorney. Really?
Or maybe he's the son involved in the drug smuggling. They put like he's in a Hawaiian garb. Aloha.
It's George Burns and Buddy Epson. Father-son team.
There's that. Or if that didn't float your boat, see what I did? Because it's a
I got you.
Podcast. Yeah. On NBC movie, The Iger Sanction. You ever heard of this movie, Mike?
The Iger Sanction?
Mm-hmm.
No, I can't say I have.
Sanction. A college professor who is really a professional assassin is assigned to discover who is stealing secret documents. Starring
Buddy Epps.
Clint Eastwood. Yeah. Clint Eastwood, George Kennedy, and Jack Cassidy.
Oh my God, Jack Cassidy. I've never heard of that movie.
I've never heard of it either.
I bet you that's pretty good.
I mean, uh, who doesn't love George Kennedy? I've never met anybody that's like that.
So
SOB George Kennedy.
George Kennedy has to be Eastwood's partner who gets gunned down at some point.
Oh, easily.
And
Because
Jack
everyone
Cassidy's
loves
the bad
him.
guy.
Yeah, he's got to get,
Sure.
you know.
Yeah. So
Then he comes back as an assassin. That's what it is. He's like, you brought this out of me.
yeah.
You killed George Kennedy's. All right. Fair enough. But that's not what we're here for, Mike. We're here to talk about this episode, and it has a synopsis, and it goes a little something like this. The Alaskan wedding of Doug and Carol causes problems between their families.
Actually, no, it didn't really.
I think it's the opposite, isn't it?
It solved problems between their families.
But isn't it the problem with their families?
I mean,
Because
honestly, the biggest problem here was not related to anybody. So
yeah, no, that is true. Doug's old beau, Natalie, still loves him. I don't think that's
I mean, listen,
you're not even scratching the surface on that.
We are what
This
5
is-
minutes into season 3. The stubbies from season 2 are just cooling
They're-
on the shelf. And I'm telling you, if this bitch doesn't win Best Villain, I will be shocked.
Oh, good point. Good point. Oh, it already.
Oh
already.
my God.
Like, just start
Amazing.
engraving her name now.
Amazing. I sat there last episode and said that we didn't have really true villains in season 2.
Shit.
And then they give us
we do
this,
now. Just
this cartoon. Oh my God.
it was amazing. Marv Prine pursues Julie, who hopes to reconnect with her old love. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. Jack Chanot and Alicia Bradbury faces bankruptcy. But it's weird how that's a separate one from the Doug and Carol's problems between their families.
Yeah.
Because Alicia is Doug's mom. I don't know why.
So I think
IMDb,
because
ladies and gentlemen.
our former friends Jolson and Bear wrote the Doug and Carol stuff. So my guess is that's all the Natalie stuff.
Gotcha.
You know, and then I think the only question is who writes the scenes when it's like Mark Harmon's talking to the mom on the deck or something like that.
Or running.
So much running.
So much running. Guest stars Lisa Hartman Black, formerly just Lisa Hartman. She's back. It's Disco Joey's dance partner and sort of wife.
Did she have some bad luck with third wheels?
No kidding. Oh. Also starred in the short-lived Bewitched spinoff called Tabitha. Total of 11 episodes. Yeah.
And she's one of our Knots Landing or Falcon Crest people.
I believe she's Knots Landing.
Yeah. So, which you could tell she got a little practice in for her slapping.
Wow, that was a terrible slap. That was one of the worst slaps.
It was
I want to be like, woo, you got to work on your working.
Sell, though. It probably was the worst. It was the worst slap we've ever seen, right?
Great sell, like you said, but come on, like she's obviously no one taught her how to slap.
That wasn't Joan Collins.
No, and that wasn't Isaac's mom either. She could smack. Or
our good friend Nurse Terry punching old Otto in the face.
That's true. That's funny. Next, Lorne Green. I love Lorne Green, by the way.
He was great.
As Buddy Bowers, #1 Canadian, Mike. That's not really surprising.
No, it's a trip home for him.
So trip home. A couple interesting facts about him. #1, I'll get it out of the way. We'll see him again in season 6.
Excellent.
He was Ben Pa Cartwright on Bonanza 1959 and 1973. Good Lord.
Thank God we're not doing Bonanza Project.
Yeah, that's... he released 10 country western spoken word albums. The single My Sons, was released in 1962 from the album, Bonanza Ponderosa Party Time. Neither the album nor the single cracked the top 100. Just
All
No
right,
background, old Lorne Green.
put that on the list for bonus episodes. Maybe we just do that.
Review the album. Oh, that's good. Oh, that's funny. Mark Harmon is next. Again, I know Mark Harmon from summer school.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, Roger Ebert gave that movie 1/2 star out of 4 stars.
What?
Called it listless, leisurely, and unspirited. Boo.
That could not be more wrong.
I thought it
was
fun.
not listless.
No.
There was a friggin' chainsaw in it.
I thought it was a great movie. I saw it in the movie theater.
It is an absolute classic.
It's a classic, absolutely.
And it's funny because this might be one of Mark Harmon's first acting roles, and he's not good, but he still sounds like Mark Harmon. It's funny how very subtle the differences between good Mark Harmon and bad Mark Harmon are.
I thought he looked a lot like Tom Cruise at this stage of his life.
A little bit. Those hair's a little lighter. And he had like the same monotone, but I think the difference is like when he turns into real Mark Harmon, he's got a little, smirk at the end of everything, and that just wasn't
playful.
Yeah.
Like what's his name? What's his name? I'm like Mahoney. It's got a little Gutenberg in him. A little goot, not full goot, but like half goot.
Yeah, I don't think we're getting goots on this boat.
No. Ooh. Maybe a young.
Yeah, I guess maybe. I always forget movie stars could be on here, but
do we get Bubba Smith?
Spoiler: we get Rosie Greer this season.
Oh, I do like that. We'll see Mark Harmon again in season number 7. Let's talk about Karen Kay, who played Natalie. We met her in season 1, episode 24, as a reformed prostitute, Mike.
No, really?
Yes. That's her.
She's the one with the oranges.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I was stunned.
No, I did not. Full disclosure, I did not do my IMDb lookup like I usually do because there was so much going on with it.
Really that caught me off guard.
Shocking.
So
good for her.
Good for and it's a pretty prominent role. I think her hair color is different or something now, but
it must be. I think she was blonde in the first one.
But I mean, so that was season 1. She's now in this season 3, and we're going to see her 3 more times.
Excellent. I'm excited because she wasn't bad in season 1. That was just
very different characters. I
that's great. That makes me happy. Again, that's another. We're gonna have to have some sort of most improved or most surprising or something like that.
Oh, based on like multiple appearances, like from
or just from first one to last one, or next. She's
great.
One,
She's great.
She was amazing. I just assumed she was a new one for us.
No,
that's great.
I didn't think about it, and then I was reading, and I'm like, oh, okay, it's the hair. I think that's
she seemed taller.
I don't know.
Maybe because she had all the money. See, that's the difference. She was a hooker in the first one. She was hoity-toity in the second.
Probably, I bet you he's a tiny guy. I don't know, but I bet you he's not a tall guy.
I mean, she leered out of that cake.
Yeah, she didn't even need like a ladder. She just like
that was a 12-layer cake.
We'll see her 3 more times. Audra Lindley, welcome back, Mrs. Roper, as Portia Fairchild. Yep. When last we met, she decided to die on an island with John Aston.
Sans medication.
We'll see her again on the boat 2 more times.
This was so this is her 3rd time. I think that's the leaderboard, right? We've had no one more than 3.
She's gonna be back 2 more times too. So.
But this was
great.
She was so good in this. They finally let her do what she does. Those first 2 episodes were not great for her.
She was dressed more like her. She looked fabulous. I like her because she always seems like half drunk.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Drunk.
I mean, it's her great. And Lauren Green. I was going to save this, but you know what? I'll save it. I have thoughts.
I do too. I have some strong thoughts on that.
Yep.
Ray Milland. Let's talk about Peter Bradbury. Mike, let's talk about this. Number 1, he is the first Welsh actor to win an Academy Award. He won for Best Actor for his portrayal of an alcoholic writer in the movie The Lost Weekend.
Now, have you seen that?
No.
It is
But this guy's amazing.
Amazing. It is an amazing dark movie in the 50s. He is it was funny that he was playing a reformed drunk, but I was excited when I saw that he was involved in this because he's a little too good for all this, and he was great.
I mean, speaking of stubbies, I mean, Peter Bradbury's name is already being, best old.
Oh, you could pick a lot of people out of this episode.
This episode, can we just timestamp this? Like, I am over the moon about this episode. And can we remember this feeling around episode 21 through episode 24? If we could just bottle this.
It is funny. We are on a streak that we have not seen since the beginning of this whole project. Honestly, that we've had 4 good episodes in a row.
Yeah. But this was
as good an episode as we've probably seen since O'Rourke.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think anything in season 2 was as good as this.
I agree with you on that. I agree with you. I'm even going back to season 1, like episode 3, like different episodes to John Ritter, and it's going to be tough, but we'll find out. We'll find out at the end of this episode. And this is Ray Milland's only appearance on the Love Boat.
Well, he only had 6 months to live.
That's true. That's true. He takes it day by day. He's like, one day at a time.
But none of those days were they filming the Love Boat.
So you're saying you can't film on consecutive days? I won't know till tomorrow. Oh, great. He's a real pain in the ass. Donnie Most as Marv Prine. Interesting, Mike. We're going to see Marv Prine, the character, again.
Really?
In a season 4 2-parter. The character comes back.
I was not expecting that.
I wasn't either. Although they painted him in a very nice light, I thought.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm talking about Ralph Malph from Happy Days. Interesting fact here. He appeared in the animated show The Fonz and the Happy Days Gang. Henry Winkler, Ron Howard did the voices for this cartoon. The Fonz, Richie, and Ralph join Cupcake and Mr. Cool on an adventure through time to make it back to 1957 Milwaukee. Can you dig it? And I'm not going to say sucker. It's not a Booker T promo, but that's in the actual
Mr. Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Bonanza Ponderoso. Now we're going to do this.
We're going to do the Cupcake and Mr. Cool project. Hello. So we're going to see Marv Prine, season 4 2-parter, and we're going to see Donnie Most as a different character in season 6.
So are we at double digits for Happy Days characters at this point? I think he was everybody except Tom Bosley and then the big 2. Oh, I guess we haven't gotten Joni yet either, but
I wonder if you get
we got both chefs. We got Scott Baio. We got Anson Williams. We got the Mouth. We got who was Pinky Tuscadero.
Yeah.
That's maybe not as mad as I thought.
Still.
Oh, Mrs. Cunningham
is the one.
Right. Mrs. Cunningham was on.
Mrs. Cunningham. So we need Winkler, Howard, and
Bosley. We're not getting the first 2.
No. So. No. I think Soap might be the one that we really have the most.
Yeah, it's got to be.
We really.
Yeah.
And finally, and I don't even want to say this guy's name. Screw you, Jack Chanot. Tony Roberts is back, sort of back, but he's back in flashback form and in fishing. This is his last appearance on the Love Boat. Thank goodness.
I will save it for when that scene comes up. I get it. I thought that was. But I was. We'll talk about it when we get there. But yeah, it was not.
It's a weird way to handle the situation.
He did not put in a lot of time. So.
No. He wasn't getting paid by the hour at all. Like, not one bit. Anything to go over before we get on the boat?
I think everything else can be dropped into the episode, but I do agree. I'm very excited. This was by far the best 2-parter that we've seen. And I think we'll point out a lot of the reasons why that was the case. So
I think, I was saying earlier how, I don't know if I said it before we were recording, but normally a two-parter, even a 90-minute, is just like, oh, it's tough with the notes because it's back and forth. I think this is the most fun I've ever had taking notes for an episode.
It's a doozy.
And that doesn't happen. Like, there's a lot of detail, but it got sucked in.
We kind of both had the same conversation. The wives watched a good chunk of this.
Yeah.
This one, like my wife at one point, I ran in the other room, and she paused it, and she's like, "Oh, you want to start it again?" Like she was excited to see some of this nonsense. So
I was only going to watch the one part, and I was going to go back to it. And I was telling my wife, "Hey, I'll watch this later." And she's like, "Well, we watch it right now."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay." And we have a deal now where.
Yeah, I'll be curious, but like,
yeah.
Is this going to be like, oops, we hit the peak of Love Boat? Like this is as good as it gets. We're
That's
like
what I said.
excited.
I was like,
We've been excited for 4 straight episodes.
Yeah, hold on. Let's pump the brakes. What are we doing? We know what they're going to do to us.
Yeah,
it's going to to be something ridiculous right around the corner, and
this
we're going to be like, "How hard is it?"
Reverence. What are we doing?
What are we doing? That's funny. All right, Mike. Let's get on the boats, and we begin in Vancouver, Canada. Vancouver, what are we doing up here? What's going on? Apparently, can you imagine how much it would cost to do this? We see a sign in front of the ship that says Bowers and Bradbury Wedding to rent a cruise ship.
Right. So 600 seats. You probably got to buy all 600 spots out, right?
I think it's got to be more than that, though, too, right? Like,
well, so who paid? Who paid for the band, the marching band?
Oh.
Like, is that part of the cruise?
All I could think of is Hogan's Heroes. They just kept playing the same clip over and over. Like, it's not a very welcoming feel.
I think it's this season's clarinet. I think we're just going to hear that the whole time. I wanted to hear the Love Boat theme in marching band form.
I was waiting to see if slow sax was trying to sneak on the boat, dressed as one of the marchers.
Apologies to our friends in Canada because the Love Boat graphics department did not put the province. They just put Vancouver. Sorry, British Columbia. You are not important enough, I guess.
Yeah, not cool. The marching band. We see Doc and Isaac commenting on how rich the Bowers and Bradburys are. I have to say, Mike, I love the dark jackets. Before we go any further,
fantastic look.
How much better do they look?
Yeah, it's so ridiculous how much better it is.
Like they look nautical. They just look. It looks fantastic.
Those jackets look cozy. It makes the white hats look better.
So 1,000% better.
Yeah. I hope that this means that we have a chance to like have different other uniforms.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. I also, aside from the jacket, I love that Doc worked in an alimony joke at 3 minutes and 13 seconds into the episode.
he got a few in. So
I was like, let's go, Doc. He's trying to get his stuff in early this season.
Yep.
Isaac begins this. So throughout the episode, Isaac's got this book of Alaskan facts, and this is where this journey begins, and he just is absorbed. I just want to say this, and I don't want to complain, but I'm going to complain. This is another episode where they just gave Isaac nothing.
A book.
I mean, I know they didn't give Doc. It wasn't a Doc heavy episode. They do this so often to Isaac. And
this one, I agree with what you're saying, but I feel like even though it's a 2-parter, there were so many characters, and then it's Julie's episode, and then you do have Steubing in another tryst with an old drunk. So
true.
Like I agree, and I could have taken or leaving a lot of the gopher hitting on the 2 ladies stuff, but
I was going to mention that.
I just don't. Even in a 2-hour episode, I feel like there just wasn't enough room for much. So
yeah, you know what it is. I just always want a little more a little more meat on the bone for Isaac in
Yeah.
these episodes as a regular occurrence instead of
Yeah.
these like one off.
I mean, I don't think it's going to get better when Vicky shows up. Like, there's just going to be less shots to get up, I would imagine.
Oh,
So,
it's gonna be like when not Rudy, but the next little Rudy
Raven
joined them.
Simone.
Oh,
Yeah.
um. So one of the Alaska facts he shared was a head of cabbage can weigh up to 70 pounds. That's the only one I took note of. I kind of.
Well, I hope they like coleslaw. Doc was just doing really bad jokes.
Boom,
This
boom,
week.
boom. He's loaded on scotch. Here comes Gopher. Wrapped in fur. By the way, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I don't know how many minks had to die for Gopher's coat, but he was warm. Had a hood. Amazing. Of course, Stubing's not pleased. Well, I agree with you're out of uniform, sir. Like you're out of uniform.
Yeah. And Stubing, I will say this, Stubing, all his tough guy stuff was followed with a chuckle this week.
Yeah.
He seemed a little more relaxed. Alaska, you know what? Maybe that boat going north is really what Stubing needed this whole time.
Well, it changed him because remember he handed him that tray of snacks and he didn't just start eating them all. You know?
That's true. I don't think we saw him eat. We saw him have a cup of coffee. That was it.
You know what happens at 3:00?
3:00 in the morning, maybe.
Maybe.
He was up all night.
All night. He doesn't know. Well, I don't know. I don't know when to sleep because I don't know when my donut is here.
Yeah, you're on the same coast, Merrill. This is not.
He thinks he's in a different planet.
The glacier planet.
So then we get to see this amazing technical document. Basically, it's a poster board. For some reason, there's a totem pole in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I don't know why. That's obviously not to scale. And it's like dotted lines where they're going. I'm like, what? What is this?
First of all, I want this board up every week.
Every week.
Or is this the board that has all the holiday announcements on it? Like, is the Mother's Day sign right behind that board? But it was hysterical because obviously this episode was brought to you by the Alaska Chamber of Commerce, but like he's like, we're going to go here and here and here and then Los Angeles.
It was so weird. And dotted lines. Yeah. Just so where are they going, Mike? They're going to Skagway, Alaska.
Stacy Skagway.
Stacy Skagway. Imagine. It's her town. You better get out of here, Merrill.
We're shooting right by Skagway.
Yeah, we're not stopping. It's a drive-by wedding or float-by wedding, whatever you want to call it. Stubing tells Gopher to lose the fur coat. He says to him that he looks like a sick sheepdog. That kind of made me giggle. Immediately back to that annoying marching band music.
Yeah.
Here's where the episode takes a turn, Mike. This is the biggest point, and it killed me not saying anything to you about this before. So we see a limo pull up, but this is very important. Because Buddy Bowers doesn't allow his chauffeur to open the door, right?
Right. Yeah.
And all I could think of when I saw this was Dusty Rhodes' theme song in the WWF back in the day, like just a coming man. So then this Buddy Bowers became Buddy the Canadian Dream Bowers in my head because it was just
wow.
They drive the point home that he's a common man so many times in this episode that it's like they beat you over the head with it. So
I mean, just the fact that he had that awesome jacket, that like
dude. And the
coyote duster.
He looked. He probably killed the coyote himself. Like it was
on the way.
Awesome.
So while you were thinking about Dusty Rhodes that whole time, I was thinking that the chauffeur looked a whole lot like Anderson the steward.
Oh, that's awesome! I'm back in business. You know, it's one of those like,
hey y'all, give me that $100, please.
He's been fired. Get out of here. They waited till they got to Vancouver to fire him. Get out of here. Boo. He tips his driver $100 bill. I was like, well, how much is $100.79? That's a pretty fat tip.
That's a pretty fat tip any day.
That's a pretty fat tip now, yeah.
Yeah.
Enter Alicia Bradbury, the wealthy mother of the groom. She's entering the ship. Stubing tells Doc that she inherited $8 million from her family.
That piker, Doc says, which made me laugh so hard.
Doc asks who the father of the groom is. Steubing says that he's the black sheep of the family and he will not be coming to the wedding. But how does Steubing know this? And this kind of made me... Steubing says Captain's intuition. I was like, what? But that's not really. He had a talk. Portia. Here we go. Audra Lindley. Alicia Bradbury's older sister arrives. I said she looks just like the woman who decided to die on an island with a hermit about a year ago. The sisters hug and they trade some insults back and forth. Yeah,
good-natured insults.
But then Portia asked about her borrowing money from Uncle Percy.
Oh.
And Alicia was making it seem as though she was using that money for the wedding. Portia says, I hope you didn't blow all the money because some of that money belongs to Doug. Oh, snap. Here, mo money, mo problems, Mike. That's what I always say. Here we go.
Poor Percy. Poor Uncle Percy.
Percy. Who's this guy? Like
where's Uncle Percy? Why is Uncle Percy not at the wedding?
Why wouldn't he be at the wedding?
Yeah.
He's frail. I just imagine he's like a Mr. Burns-like sort of character. You know, like just spine like a question mark, just hunched over. He can't travel.
He's got all the diseases.
every spinal disease. He can't move, but he's really nice guy.
Poor Uncle Percy.
A hell of a guy. Just can't move.
Free with his cash.
Free with the cash. He just doesn't get out much. Oh boy, Julie's outside welcoming passengers, which I thought was weird. I don't know why she was outside. Like, she can't hear anything. There's a marching band. It was just, like, logistically, it doesn't make any sense.
Well,
hey,
I mean...
You're going to check people... What is she... She can't hear anything. The damn marching band won't stop.
I guess it's a different dock. And so their normal setup wouldn't work, would be my official guess.
Who knows?
I mean, eventually, spoiler, Ray Milland just zips right through. So maybe that's why she was outside. So.
Yeah, maybe so.
Can we talk about real quick?
Yes.
I'm holding judgment because this is a mainly outside in the cold and rain episode, but Julie's got some different hair, and I you know, the late 70s, early 80s were not a kind time for styles all the time. So
no, yeah, I'm not sure what's. I mean, it's definitely grown out. We could talk about this. It's grown out, but I don't know what's going on.
She looked better at the end of season 2, I think. So I think this was a style choice that just happened in the late 70s.
I feel like her hair is always like in the middle stage. No matter when it is, it's always in the middle stage. Like, what?
So I want to give it. I want to give it a non-outdoor episode before I make a final judgment.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. Because we're in the elements.
Exactly. Everybody. I mean, God, how many scenes did they mention how bad it was raining? Which clearly meant it wasn't supposed to be raining. So.
It's also funny. I almost expected to hear some American Girls type wind sound effects as we were watching glaciers.
Everyone in this episode looked worse for wear in 5 minutes than Terry did 6 weeks trapped in that mountain. So
poor that one of them wouldn't have made it. It would have been a nasty situation. But if you missed it, you should check the archive for our bonus episode. Julie's having a flashback, Mike. You know how I feel about those.
So, first official clip show flashback, right? We've had flashbacks, but they were
not like this.
They were new.
It was like, because remember they like when Meryl and when they put the hair thing on. Yeah,
this is an actual new or scene we have seen before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Her saying goodbye to Jack.
Oh, we should go back and clip what we said about each of those scenes and drop it in here.
Oh, that's funny.
That's too technical for us. But
that is
just imagine,
technical. Yeah. And him saying, like, if you ever get up to Alaska, again, this is season 2, episode 14, the Julie Falls Hard storyline that we covered.
Stubby nominated episode.
It was a good episode. Julie's flashback is interrupted by who? Ralph Malph. Love it. I have a hard time calling him anything but Ralph Malph. I'm just going to say it right now. Yeah, you know, you grew up with the guy.
Well, it's funny
Um,
that his name is Marv because I kept thinking it was Mark.
I had a hard time. I had to just go back to Ralph Malph because I got so confused. He's the best man in Doug's wedding. He immediately starts flirting with Julie, but not in a creepy way. I'll say not creepy,
Never creepy.
which is nice.
Never
Not
creepy the whole time. Good for you, Ralph.
Yeah, I'm a fan. She's not interested, but she gives him a maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids are here, Mike, and we're keeping score here. So the bridesmaids arrive in a cab, right? It's just a working man. I'm just telling you, we're going back now.
But see, because they know her, are they maybe local? Like, are they from Alaska or Vancouver?
Yeah, but why would they come down to Vancouver to get on a boat just to go
Just
back
to
to
get
where
on
they
the
came from?
to get on the boat, I guess, as a whole experience.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Did you see who one of the two bridesmaids was?
I did. What was her name? Newhart.
Julia Duffy. She was Stephanie in Newhart.
Is that a current
Stephanie, one of the great. I did a Newhart rewatch a few years ago, and that baby holds up once you get past like season 3. But
I really enjoyed that show.
She is so good, and obviously not playing anything near here, but not a Kernsing, but definitely one of those people that 10 years later, she would 5 years later, she would have been like if she comes back.
Oh, it's a get at that point because she's like established. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bridesmaids show up and I have a story correction later. If I forget, please remind me. The wedding officiant, it's related to the wedding officiant.
Okay.
Says it would have been nice if Doug had married the girl next door instead of the granddaughter of an oil magnate. He just points out
dumping exposition everywhere in this episode.
But I was like, what? It just seems such an odd thing for this guy. Like, that's your first impression with this dude is just he can't just
man
be
of the
friendly
cloth
and just like, keep it under wraps a little bit. Like,
I hate the woman that you're marrying.
Yeah, she's this and it just. He points out the girl next door. Enter Natalie as she arrives in a limo. Not the common man. Not the common man there. You know how many times I listened to that song when I was doing these notes? I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop listening to it. It's funny.
So Natalie doesn't even show up with a date. She doesn't even go through the pretense of bringing a +1.
Oh, she's got a date. She knows who her +1 is. She's like, I'm leaving the boat with him. Jeez. Well, she wouldn't need much luggage. She didn't wear much.
Well, she probably left it all on from a couple seasons ago.
That's true.
Would have been great if she had some oranges, though.
I feel like in some of these scenes, she was wearing an outfit she might have worked in season 1. I'm just saying. Doug and Carol arrive, and the crowd goes wild. Except for Natalie.
Nope.
Walks over and just sweeps him away from everyone from Carol to meet other people, which is a wildly ballsy and villain move.
She makes choices here that even villains maybe would have had a little more context to. Like, she just doesn't care.
Well, something like that, that's how hockey fights get started. You do something crazy like that. Like what? Come on.
Especially when you think Tiger Williams was involved here in Vancouver.
That's really funny. You'd think, I don't know, maybe Carol was just so shocked. She was just like...
Well, I will say this. They do a good job in this episode of Carol and her bridesmaids calling Natalie on it. Like, they're not snowed by any of this. The person who needed to do a better job here was old Mark Harmon.
100%.
Because he was not doing his lady a service at all, because he was just a guy who liked to be hit on by a second woman. So
and spoiler alert, his explanation for that situation he found himself in later in the episode was such the what? That's a nothing. Well, if I did it, we'll get to it.
Yeah, a level of unearned for Mark Harmon a lot in this episode.
Zero spine. He's like a boneless chicken. He has zero spine in this. It's really, really, it's weird. Yeah, and nobody looks pleased with what happened here except for Natalie. Natalie's like,
well, that's the thing too. It seems like weird, a lot of people know what's happening, right? Like they not all like,
know it, and they expect it too. I mean, if that priest or whatever was like, oh yeah, that's who he should have been with, and that's probably what all those rich people are thinking.
She was very much a Hallmark Christmas movie, but one of those ones where, oh, I'm a maid and now I'm a queen kind of movies. And there would always be this person that was like supposed to marry the king, but she was uptight and stuff, and she tried to destroy Danica McKellar or Lacey Chabert.
Oh, yeah, Lacey Chabert, absolutely. Yeah. And Nancy McKeon comes out of nowhere. Like, what are you doing here, Nancy McKeon?
Joe Putnick.
Joe Putnick. We have ticker tape, Mike, and let's just say that Ralph Malph and Mrs. Roper are having a ball.
Yeah.
Just exuberantly throwing it. You know who isn't? Natalie. Natalie's get this crap off of me, basically.
This is not helping me get Mark Harmon. No. This is the most logical ticker tape scene we will ever have. This is exactly when there should be a ticker tape. People are throwing this at people who are not going on the trip. This makes total sense.
That would suck, wouldn't it? Because normally we see a cruise that leaves and they do the ticker tape. It's like, yay, which, like you said, doesn't really make a lot of sense. But why would there be people left behind if the frickin' boat holds 600 people? You're really gonna have a whole audience to see you off. If it means that much, why don't you go to the wedding?
Old Alicia Bradford, she's a socialite. She's probably playing the games, so I could see that where sorry, I can't invite your husband, and now I'm destroying you socially.
I could see that. Well, she's got plenty of money, though.
Yeah, it's not like she's going to go bankrupt or anything.
No, it's too much money. We see Buddy admiring the buffet. This buffet, oh boy, Mike.
Oh, hold on. Are we in Alaska now?
We're in Alaska now.
Sorry. All right. It's a little chilly.
It is a little chilly in Alaska. Chilly air. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ralph Malph is telling Buddy how great the food is. Buddy, I'm just a working man, says it with all the money he spent. You'd think the sandwiches would be a little bit bigger. It's a common man right there, Mike. Common man. He wants I like my sandwiches like I like my women. Wonder. I don't know. That was a reach. Portia comes up to Doug and Carol. I kind of like this. Like, she was kind of like,
she's
in an unspoken way. She's like, Carol, I know these people. Yeah. She's kind of
I agree. I'm real. She was like their Jiminy Cricket, or, it was like,
She said, tells Carol, there's a lot of crumbs in the upper crust. And then she like that drunk, sort of not drunk. You're not quite sure. Like, yeah, she's awesome though. Oh crap, Mike! Here comes Natalie with that Doug hungry look in her eye. I just want to say my notice here is I'll go out on a limb here, Mike. It's something I don't really want to. It's a little racy for my taste to discuss. I'm going to say what she's wearing here is not appropriate. The sun is up. It's pretty much painted on. I was uncomfortable.
My guess is she was like, let me, you know what it is? It's like, let's request a mistrial early, right? it's like she's taking a big shot here quick, because that way, there's still time to
hang out in the
get
boat.
All these losers off the boat. So
no kidding. She says hello to Portia, gives Doug a smooch on the cheek. I ran this back a few times because initially I thought it was a smooch on the neck. Ooh. And I would feel like that was a more intimate sort of hello than a cheek. So I ran it back. Cheek, confirmed.
You don't kiss people on the neck.
Natalie might. Natalie's crazy.
That's true.
Like she's like she's a male dog peeing on a tree. She's like trying to mark her territory. She's challenging Carol.
Mark Harmon her territory.
Right. Like Mark Harmon's just a tree because he won't do anything. It's just like, you need me to run? Like, no, we don't need you to run, Mark.
Not this scene, Mark.
Not yet, Mark. Jeez. Uh, Natalie tells Carol they're looking all over for her. Something about introducing Carol to an ambassador. Leads Carol away, and then I'm like, Natalie's going to push her over the boat. Like, she's just going to push her overboard. What happened? Mm-hmm. Apparently she didn't want to get married. She left. She returned to the sea. I don't know. My bad. We see the two bridesmaids on deck, and now we see Gopher and Doc. Gopher saying he's in love with both of them. But wonders if bigamy is illegal in Alaska. Made me chuckle. Gopher. This is where Gopher grabs a plate of bar snacks, goes over to the ladies, tries to talk to him. Stubing, Gopher. Gopher brings him the tray, and immediately I'm like, oh boy, this is the best thing that has ever happened to Stubing. He doesn't eat one of the snacks on the tray.
No. Got to fit in that new jacket.
He looks great. He looks great. Again, let me just point out, he's getting on Gopher, right? What the hell is Stubing doing right now? There's nothing in his hands, no radio, no binoculars. He's just
waiting for an older gentleman with an alcohol problem to show up.
But there's really that little to do in that role where, like, he's just standing there.
Well, I don't know. Are they in Skanksville or Sklagaville?
Not yet. En route. If you remember, I should have made my own poster board so we could have gone back to it. No,
I was initially going to have a fact, like a different fact that wasn't glacier related, but I figured we're going to be here for 7 hours anyway. I didn't need to add on to that.
Yeah,
so.
And I will say there's a lot to digest here. I'm not going to go too much more into the Gopher Stubing.
Yeah.
For the sake of time.
Same thing. Yeah.
Julian Ralph Mouth, thank you, are at the outdoor bar. Isaac says this party makes you want to run out and go get married. Oh boy, here we go, Mike. And it begins. Ralph says it sounds great. Ask Julie, how about it? Like, don't ask Julie that. Like, because she might be like, let's do it now. Like, you don't know. You don't know what you're dealing with. Julie says, I'm sort of saving myself for Mr. Right. And my note was, are you though? Are you really saving yourself? Have you been though?
Wait, Jim Wright from season 1?
Yeah. Amongst, the guy she threw herself at that was too old. Was like, no, you're too young. Like, it's always...
I was trying to think, was that old man the only person between Chenault's and the 13-year-old, I guess? But like, so it was just that episode,
allegedly.
Though, right? I don't think there was anybody else in between.
I don't think so either.
So that's good, at least.
What were the pizza guys before? That was before.
Right? Yeah. Red Buttons was before.
Oh,
so,
well, it's funny they waste no time in this season to just destroy Julie in this episode. It really,
it's not good. It's just not good. It's just not good.
Man.
No.
We see Natalie, Alicia, and Carol talking to a very ambassadorial looking gentleman.
He should have had a sash.
With an A? He should have just had an A and a big red A.
Oh, you think he's the ambassador to Canada?
That's it. Yeah, ambassador of what? Like, of what? Like, what? Of what to what? U.S.? No, you're going to wait, what?
Well,
Canada
I'll tell you what.
Alaska?
It's September 79. He's not the ambassador to Iran. That's for sure. So
he's double booked. Yeah, you can't. That's funny. It's very funny. Ambassador leaves. Natalie tells her, you don't shake the hand of an ambassador, dummy. He's supposed to kiss yours.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
She's got one note.
One note. But again, this is another... It's just a working man. This is just another example of the funnel to let you know that Buddy and Carol are common people. Like, they come from nothing.
But they're also
another way.
Filthy rich.
But they're also filthy rich, right? Which doesn't... It's a weird... Yeah, I said I fully expect Common Man to start playing as Uncle Dusty arrives in a yellow polka dot suit. Alicia and Natalie continue to crap on Carol's lack of wealthy people knowledge.
Oh, is this the
Even
scene where Alicia goes, "Yes, I imagine you couldn't learn how to be like that all the time." Like she just like
she's such a dick. It's
she
just
goes
so
from
mean.
0 to 60 with that affect in some of these scenes. Like,
it's funny too. It's not natural to the ear.
no,
it's it's just like, oh,
well,
is that how everyone acted? Well, not here, but previous.
But it's funny. I don't know if it was an acting choice or they're actually being subtle, because if you notice any scene with Mrs. Roper,
yeah,
she's not like that, and that's because it's her sister, and her sister would call BS on it. So I think it's like an affect thing that she does, which
she's selling the character, which makes sense.
It's pretty consistent in the episode, though, so I think it might have been on purpose. So.
Well, I noticed. Remember when she realizes what Peter's trying to tell her? You hear the voice. That's a good point.
She brings it down. Yeah. And she's not like that at the end. Yeah.
Was she like it at the end? Did she go back to the affect? I
wonder. No. It was like one day at a time, Captain Stubing.
That's right.
Like,
that's right. One day. Alicia's face changes, and we see Doug's father, Peter. Dun dun dun. He's here.
Who, by the way, slipped onto the boat behind the band.
At the slowest sneaking on of anything. Just a very slow gait.
Limo. He gets out of the limo in a suit, goes behind the band.
Don't mind me. As soon as he's on the boat, like no one's asking for tickets at this point.
I mean, you can stow away on the boat in normal times. This is a layup.
Yeah, this has got to be super easy.
Yeah, I'm surprised Big Country Bryant Reeves wasn't on this thing.
I think Sharif Abdul Rahim was on this, to be honest with you.
Are those the Sedines?
That's it. They just, we hand delivered their invite. Doug's not happy about seeing his dad, Peter, and Alicia demands to know why he's on board. Though Peter hasn't been much of a father to Doug, he now wants a second chance, but Alicia says, too late. Sorry, I couldn't. It's just ridiculous. I would love to start talking like that, like in like meetings at work. Just I'd start talking like timeless Tony Storm in everyday life.
I mean, this voice is one thing, but when she gets on the horn, then it's really another voice.
That's a whole different behind closed doors. Peter tells Alicia, I may have the same old face, but I'm not the same old clown. Acting, now, Mike. This guy's
interesting. I don't know if you saw this, by the way, and I hope this is now a trend, but it might just be because it was the first episode of the season. A lot of IMDb information, which very rarely happens on this show. Apparently, the actress who played Alicia, Eleanor Parker, I think, had a facelift just prior to this and was basically unrecognizable from her former self. So that face thing might have hit a little close to home.
Yeah, but can you imagine how, I don't know if it's the right word to use, but how primitive, for lack of a better term, the plastic, cosmetic surgery was in the 70s.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty easy to tell when people have had work done now in 2025. I got to think.
Stretched everyone's skin back.
Yeah.
Back then.
So I didn't go back and like find a 1-to-1, but apparently this was like her unveiling. And so not that she looked bad, but my impression is she looked different. So
yeah, I bet you she was just, her face was pushed up. I bet you they do the ear thing and they just like pull your face back, essentially.
That's where half the $8 million went.
I wonder how long it's good for if you do it back then, like in the 70s. Like how long would a...
I'm surprised she made it through the Alaskan rain.
Right, like I don't know, is she going to make it only through episode 1? Like is she, what's going to happen?
That's why she wanted them to get married so fast, is because she couldn't make it to the pictures if they waited any longer.
I'll melt, dear. I'll melt.
Oh, Douglas.
Buddy's in a tux adjusting his tie when Portia comes along. I love this. I love their interactions. It's so much fun.
So good.
She says, I've never seen a man hang himself before. And Mike, the reason why he can't tie one of these things, he's just
because he's a common man. Yeah.
He and Portia flirt, and then Portia walks off with like a certain level of sass.
Oh yeah,
way I could describe
they
it.
flirt the whole way across the room, basically.
Good for them. Good for them.
It's on. It's on already.
And then I thought, like, too, what if Lorne Greene was the captain of this ship?
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Well, you watch. See, I didn't watch Battlestar Galactica. Was he the captain of that ship?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't love it. I know a lot of people loved it. But the newer one, but the older one, I mean, it had Face on it. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Face and Aaron Gray and that robot, right?
And no, that's Buck Rogers. Aaron Gray was Buck Rogers. With Twiggy was the robot.
Oh, that's right. What's her name? The terrible waitress actress was on Battlestar Galactica.
Not that this is the Battlestar Galactica project, but, you know, we have a little knowledge, peripheral.
Do you think that robot from Buck Rogers will be on the boat?
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
Do you think we'll get a robot in the portals?
Well, I mean, we sort of got the Love Machine, right? I'm not saying it was a robot, but I think
but I want
having that leads to.
I want like the robot from Rocky IV.
What if it's like a
Johnny
robo
5,
bartender? It's like a John Henry type situation, and Isaac is determined to beat this new robot bartender.
It's got to be something, or a robot captain.
Oh, that would never.
No.
That would never. Out like for real, the actor would be like, "That's never happening." He's too threatened. He didn't want to deal with it. Who's going to eat the donuts?
Put him in the floppy disk drive.
In her cabin, Alicia's on the phone making deals with her investment broker.
Well, I don't know that these are deals.
Well, yeah, I don't know if they're deals. He's telling her, she's asking for a deal. She's asking for, hey, do me a solid and shut up for a few days. Ixnay on the awking day about the only day,
So the line, I don't know if our friend Chris Kamen, the radio officer, is back, but the connection on this ship to shore is terrible. So
did you say Chris Kamen?
Who is it? Chris Capers, whatever his name was. No, not the Clippers Center.
Talking about the thin-haired gentleman that played for LA for a few.
Because the phone kind of drops at one point when she's like, wait, did the stock go up? And I'm thinking, like, honey, if the stock went up, your stockbroker wouldn't be calling you.
Yeah, it's not. You really have selective hearing. It's that affect. Good Lord, you can't even hear real voices anymore.
But she mentions that she can't sell the stock because she put it up as collateral for a private loan. And the stockbroker is like, well, my hands are tied.
They got me by the balls here. I can't.
So I reached out to a financial advisor.
Sure.
To ask if putting up stock as collateral for a loan is a common thing. And he said, yes, it is, as long as it's agreed to by both parties. But he said the reason the stockbroker was having such a fit about it is because they're being selfish in that situation, because they only obviously make money if you're able to sell it. If she can't sell it.
Oh, then they get nothing, basically.
Right. So the real villain in this is the stockbroker. Uncle Percy, who was probably taken advantage of, is a close second. So
Uncle Percy's like giving her points on the loan now. He's like, well, 65%. Percy, maybe Percy's a loan shark. Uncle Percy is just like it's like Dr. Eyes. It's just a nickname.
That's why she needs him to give 3 days. She's going to stay and
don't show up on the boat and break my fingers. Yeah, that's what it is.
She's going to be in Rango Bay or wherever the hell some of those places were.
Well, what was that guy's name that the woman that Doc knew, and it was one of Doc's exes, and he was married and he was a gambler. What's that guy's name?
Vinny Del Risi.
They're going to bring Vinny Del Risi on the boat to take care of
the boat bookie.
Yep. That shady guy he gave money to when they were doing that weird outdoor horse racing thing around the pool. First commercial break, Mike. It's moving right along here. Doug and Carol arrive in the Acapulco lounge to a smattering of applause. They move to the dance floor, begin dancing, and they're semi-surrounded and in a very aggressive manner by violinists. It's just like circling them there. I'm like, back up, back up. What are you doing? Weird. We see Isaac pouring Doc a drink. He still has that stupid book in his hand, in his non-pouring hand. We do see him pour something. Maybe not mix a drink. We saw him pour a little water in Doc's scotch. Facts, facts, facts. We get it, Isaac. Gopher tells him to, quote, zip his lip. Always made me laugh. Like up your nose with a rubber hose. You know what I mean? Like just makes me giggle each time.
Yeah.
Buddy enters the lounge and smiles as he sees Carol dancing with Doug. Look at this. Buddy's just salt of the earth, man. He's
proud grandpa.
Just a warm human being. Sits down at a table next to Portia. Explains that he raised Carol and that they were poor. Wait, they were poor? So that would make him a common man? And then he struck it lucky. But Carol stayed the same because she's all right. I wrote here, I love these guys. Like, I love these guys. You know why? Because they were both genuinely happy for Doug and Carol. It was none of the bullshit.
Right.
It was just
enthusiasm. This can go anywhere because they're great in every scene. I think that is who should have been Julie's parents.
These two?
These two.
Oh, not Norman Fell?
Not Norman Fell and Mrs. DeFazio. Yeah.
I agree.
I think that would have made it so much better. Mrs. Roper being Julie's mom probably would have made a little more sense, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. And plus I feel like, I don't know, I mean, it's going to sound dumb, but I feel like there's a warmth from these people that can be conveyed in that way. Yeah. Whereas Fell was ice cold, not in a good way.
Well, let's be honest. Yeah. Lisa Hartman in both episodes is kind of like a poor man's Julie, but without the hysteria. Like, she's still running into bad situations and probably getting taken advantage of, but she's like a little more in control, it seems, of it. So
not as flighty, not as
prone to walk into one. So
just looking for rebounds everywhere. She's like Dennis.
You think Julie would have hit somebody ever?
Oh,
is Julie ever going to hit anybody in these shows? Probably not, right?
No, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. Gopher tries to talk to the bridesmaids again. It was a whole weird thing. I'm skipping that. Peter approaches Doug. Uh-oh. Doug introduces Carol to Peter again. Peter is Doug's father, who wasn't around. Tells Doug he won't spoil their fun and walks away. Real quick. Here comes Natalie. Here we go again. Tells Doug they're playing their song.
That's your song?
That's your song?
This weird clarinet
instrumental? Really? An improvised clarinet instrumental on a cruise ship is your song?
Yeah, okay. Which somehow turns into the lambada when they get dancing. Like,
and again, she's not dressed appropriately. Like, it's so. When she says this, Carol looks pissed, but then Natalie asked Carol,
"Yeah,
you wouldn't mind, would you?" Carol should have been like, "Yeah."
Very
get out of here.
Very Ken Berry from Mark Harmon there.
Yeah, good call.
You know, you gotta just say, nah, not right now, hun. So
get out of here. Go find somebody else. Where's Marv Prine when you need him? Jeez.
Or a third person.
Anybody. Just anybody. There's 600 people on this ship. Like, get out of here.
Not a lot of men, though. There's the Reverend and...
There's like 3 guys on the ship. It was the craziest.
The Reverend would take a shot at Natalie based on that first
interaction. Shady. Yeah. Julie's sitting with Ralph in the Pirates Cove. He asked her if she wants to dance. Arrgh. No owl outfit for Isaac this week either. It's kind of disappointing.
No. Too cold.
He was too busy reading to change into his owl outfit.
He probably didn't pack it.
A snow owl outfit, like all white suede.
Yeah.
She says, no. Oh, crap, man. Another flashback. Here we go again. Her and Chanot smooching on the deck. Boy, they're
Yep.
really setting Julie up for a nice, just, oh, oh. It's so mean, dude. It's so mean. We're climbing up this hill like a roller coaster with Julie. Click, 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 click. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
And
so mean.
it's just nobody's like, hey. So, Steubing almost does, but like no one stops this.
Nobody. And like, what if he wasn't home?
That would have been better.
Right? She would have been stranded in the wilderness, and God knows what happens from there. But we just saw on the American Girls it might work out as long as you have your ELP working. Julie asked Ralph if she can take a rain check, and it's funny because she never gives him concrete. She's never like, she's always like, maybe later I'll give you a rain check.
I mean, yeah, and I guess in theory, she hadn't totally made up her mind. Although that seems crazy, but the real reason she's probably doing it, subconsciously or not, takes place at the end of the episode, and is one of the worst things I've seen Julie do.
Yeah, that was.
But yeah, we'll get to that. So
more uncomfortable than Red Hot American Woman?
No, not uncomfortable, just not right.
Yeah, I kind of feel
might be the most wrong thing Julie's done.
Yeah,
so
that's a good call. Steubing's in his office with a very, very tight dress shirt on. Question: is the purpose of a cummerbund, is it just to hide your stomach? Because I'm starting to think that after watching this episode.
Does it serve as a belt?
Like, there's no buckle on it. It's
just I don't know that I've ever worn a cummerbund, now that I think about it.
I think I did when I was in a wedding once, like years and years and years ago. I don't think it's a thing anymore. But
I've
like
worn
covers
suspenders.
Up like
I've worn suspenders, but not a cummerbund.
I've had a cummerbund. I think I was a kid. I was in weddings.
Yeah.
I think it was. But I can't imagine I wore a cummerbund to prom.
I wore it when I broke my ribs. Just wrapped in cummerbunds.
That's funny.
like Hogan against Bundy.
That's all you need. Well, unless you're Iron Mike Sharp, I want to see what's underneath that wrap. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Speaking of Canada.
Yeah, it's Vancouver's own Mike Sharp.
Mike Sharp. Steubing's in his office again, very tight, very tight. Knock on the door. It's Peter. He introduces himself to Steubing, tells him he's a stowaway.
No, Captain, I'd like to turn myself in.
This guy's great. Found out the cruise was sold out, but he said it was important to see his son, and then he'll get off the ship at the next port of call. Tells Steubing he doesn't belong here. And apparently Steubing was like, nonsense.
Yep, because you, my friend, are older than 60, which means you can stay in my room.
Yeah, you can stay in my room. And if I was him, I'd be like, well, where? Next to me. Snuggled in next to Meryl. Where are you going to sleep?
This is
people get to a certain age, they can't sleep on you can't.
Well, I always assume he takes the couch.
Who?
Yeah.
Meryl's
got to have
3 p.m. donut. Oh, he's got a great bed. He's got a race car bed. Imagine he has a cruise ship bed, like a little plastic cruise ship he sleeps in.
Yeah, somebody got it for his 5-year anniversary for him.
that stupid watch that stopped working too. This poor guy. So he's going to stay with Steubing in his cabin, and they'll figure out,
figure it out in the morning.
Next day. And we go to our second commercial break. All right, let's do this. Next morning, Carol finally tells Dougie she's not happy about how blatant Natalie has been with Doug. No shit, right? Like you said, hey, Ken Barry, open your eyes here. What's like?
And his Doug's like quote unquote logic behind it is that, I guess Natalie's been kicked around by her parents, who I assume are also rich folks or whatever. And, he's traveled the world with her. He basically says she's just a friend, but he never really says like, I know it's making you uncomfortable, I'll shut it down.
Never.
Ever.
He's just like, I'm Doug.
And pretty charming.
And I bet you the fact that he was a good looking guy, maybe they're just portraying him as just dumb as a box of rocks.
I think he's a bimbo. Yeah, I think that's where it ends up. Especially because if you really think about how the rest of the episode goes, every decision he makes is wrong. So.
Every single one. And he runs for a ridiculous amount of time. So it just shows that's total bimbo move. Doug assures her Natalie's just an old childhood friend, and he would never be in love with her. Here we go. Doug and Carol start smooching again. They love to get their smooch on.
That's right.
Oh, a little thunder in the background. That was kind of cool.
Oh, smooch thunder? Well, it's probably that those Alaskan storms. So I should put my scarf back on.
Maybe. The seas could get rough. They leave for champagne and caviar for breakfast.
Fish eggs for breakfast.
Yeah.
Common.
Steubing in a sweater and Peter are on the bridge. Great sweater. Having coffee. Peter's talking about Alicia. Asked about a prescription refill, which I thought was a kind of a weird thing to. Hey, Captain, can you refill?
Well, he didn't. Hold on now. He didn't ask the captain to take care of it. He just asked where to go, and the captain decided to take care of it.
Fair enough. Oh, okay. You know what? Steubing says he'll take care of it. And my note was, how?
He'll give it to Doc.
What if he doesn't have him on the boat? I don't know.
Well, then they'll do what they did. They said they had to send out for him.
What, the guy showed up on a jet ski with this high-powered...
well, I mean, they're making... I don't know if you saw that handy map at the beginning of the episode. They're stopping a bunch of places. You
maybe
can't
they picked
hit
him
a
up
glacier. You can't hit a glacier without a Rite Aid.
Well, I'm just wondering, maybe at the totem pole, they had a pharmacy at the totem pole. They stopped there.
It's an Eckerd.
That's it. The floating Eckerd. Julie and Ralph are standing on deck. For some reason, for somebody not interested in Ralph, Julie is spending a lot of time with him.
She's got Ralph on retainer.
Yeah, she's like, you're on deck.
Also, you know what's funny? Like, now this isn't always the case, but usually your best man, if he's not related to you, especially, is probably friends with all your other boys. Like, we never see Ralph with anybody else. He's spending all his time with Julie.
Well, we never see any other guy, like Doug's guy friends.
Right.
He doesn't, because you know why? Because he's a bimbo. That's why. Nobody wants to hang out with him. He's just vapid. Just nothing happening. Fucking Doug. Yeah, she says no to Ralph's dinner invite. Julie says she likes him, but admits there is somebody else. Tells Ralph her previous decision, and she says she's been thinking about it. Oh boy. Portia arranged all the gifts. All the gifts are sort of laid out for the bride, but Alicia criticizes how things are laid out. Buddy interrupts, liking the arrangement. Of course he does. He doesn't want anything complicated. You know why. And Portia and Buddy continue their flirting. Alicia tells Carol that she has to leave to take a phone call. Here it comes, Mike. It's coming.
Well, she got a message from Julie that she's got a ship to shore call. Go wait in your room for it. So,
that's a weird thing, right?
Well, I mean, I imagine
ship to shore at 3 p.m.
Yeah, but it's like, the stockbroker. Because let's see, in Alaska, it's a 5 hours difference, 5-6 hours difference, probably. So
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
3 to 7. So,
but who's she talking to?
The stockbroker.
Maybe her stockbroker's in Alaska.
That's a good point. I mean, why is he at the wedding?
Right? Well, somebody's got to be on the shore, apparently. Or he's on the totem pole. He has an office in the totem pole.
This guy is calling her because he's busy taking all the money while they're away.
You lost it all. Yeah, I don't know what happened. So she, Alicia tells Carol she has to leave to take a phone call. Gopher's talking to Doc. Here we go. 2 bridesmaids. Again, Steubing just blocks them. Long story short, we see Doug on deck approaching Peter, who's drinking ginger ale at the bar. And he's like,
you can try it if you want it.
Take a sip.
Yeah. If you don't believe me.
If you don't believe me.
Also, poor Isaac. He's the only one working a wedding. Jeez.
Yeah, no kidding. And one-handed because he has that stupid book in his hand. Unless he's trying to train his offhand by occupying his dominant hands to force him to pour with the bad one. I don't know.
There you go. That's smart.
Explained it was hard being married to a woman who pays all the bills, so he turned to liquor to ease his
Sweet
ego.
lady booze.
Sweet lady booze. He apologized to Doug and took full responsibility for his life. He said he couldn't cope. Straight shooter, Peter.
Yep.
Just up. Alicia's on her phone call. Here we go.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Sell the house.
Broker tells her she's at rock bottom. And even selling her house won't help. She decides to declare bankruptcy, but demands 3 days before doing so.
But she says it in a way that makes it seem like she's literally going to do the Michael Scott thing and just stick her head out the window and declare bankruptcy.
She's going to find an abandoned rail car. Yeah. That's really why she's on this ship.
Her bankruptcy phone calls got 2 commercial breaks.
Yeah, second commercial break. We go right to it. Absolutely.
Yep.
Portia's on deck when Buddy comes up in an incredible looking sweater. Lauren Green's like outdoors wears game is very strong.
Oh, like if he was really, if the LL in LL Bean was for Lauren Green,
LG Bean. Woo! It's all pre-warned Lauren Green exclusives.
That's right.
Like LL Bean, but
smells like Ponderosa and oil.
Oh, and a slight bit of maple syrup, a little bit, not too much.
Just a hint of Glacier Bay.
Portia asks Buddy if the sun ever goes down, and Buddy says, "Alaska is God's country, and even the sun can't stand to leave." God bless you, Lauren Green. He invites Portia to explore, and she agrees. Peter's telling Alicia that he had a conversation with their son, Doug, and praises Alicia for raising Doug on her own. A lot of switching around going on, a lot of scenes switching happening.
And this is where they're clearly outside, and the day they were shooting, it was raining because every scene is rainy. And B, they all make sure to mention that it's raining.
And the sound was a little weird.
Yeah, Peter is dressed like Kermit the Frog when he's a reporter.
What you mean when he worked for Sesame Street News? Is that what you're referring
obviously.
to?
Yes.
Obviously. Duh.
Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
Sesame Street News. That's funny. Steubing takes Peter's prescription to Doc, who reveals it's a very strong painkiller used for terminal patients. By the way, my wife knew that this was going to happen the second this character was introduced.
Really?
She was like, he's dying. I was like,
wow.
What do you don't even know. You don't have the inventory of episodes to.
She's got the second sight.
Yeah, she does. She's got like the Love Boat touch.
She can't tell the calendar, but she can tell what the 6.
That's right. Exactly. Right. Exactly.
She'll never hear this.
No, she'll never listen. We can say whatever. She's never going to hear this. Doug and Carol are making out again. She's wearing this pretty cool fur coat. She's had enough of all these stuffy parties and agrees to show Doug her version of Alaska. Kind of
so it seems there was another note in IMDb, and let me just say this: if IMDb notes are going to be a thing, we'll quote them more. But also, I will give the caveat that you can never really know if they're true or not. But apparently, it was colder than they expected it to be, and so they kind of had to go grab all these coats because there's a lot of white coats that all kind of look the same. Julie had a coat on like this, so it looks great, but apparently, it wasn't necessarily the plan. So
interesting,
yeah.
Because he could have had it was an abundance of white coats.
Well, they made it seem like it's funny because I had said coming into this season, coming into this episode, that I wanted them to have coldness. I didn't want it to be like unseasonably warm. So they obviously went to Alaska and did it outside. Good for them.
I didn't see anybody's breath.
I get that's true, but we weren't at night either. So
no, that's true.
Yeah.
Peter sitting by the Mendenhall River of ice in Alaska, and Alicia shows up. He apologizes again. He wants her to stay there with him, but she needs to get back to the wedding arrangements. Peter calls her the great planner and wants her to stop planning and start living. But he goes back to the ship with her. But they don't run back. They walk back.
Well, he can't run.
No. Julie, Gopher, Isaac, and Doc are walking around eating crab legs, because what's a more walking-friendly snack than good old crab legs?
Fish on a stick.
Yeah, fish on a stick with hot butter. Okay. Julie explains she can't stop thinking about Jack. She says it's a woman's prerogative to change her mind.
Isaac is, I don't know if you noticed this, Isaac is wearing his Dream Girls outfit. He's got his big cowboy hat on. So.
That's for some reason I get such a and also Doc was dressed like LeBeau. You know, he just needed some camouflage on his face.
Or he's dressed like that villainous character he played in Dream Girls too.
That's true.
Maybe they filmed Dream Girls wardrobes, guys.
I love seeing them in like civilian clothes. It's just it's so awesome.
This was a great fashion episode.
It's like when you see when they have Kermit the Frog riding a bike and you see his legs pedaling. Yeah. I get such a kick out of that too. It's the same. I think it's the same taste bud.
Yeah. This was by far. We need to have Beth consult. This was by far the best fashion episode we've had since
solid
the bows. The hair
Portia alone, just what she was wearing, and Lauren Green's jackets.
Oh my god, yeah, and again the crew clothes.
Yeah,
even Ralph Mouth was dressed pretty sharp.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Peter and Portia are walking along the Mengenhall River of ice, where Buddy tells her that he and his late wife, or he said wife, I said late, and his wife saw a rainbow in that exact spot, and the scenery was so beautiful, they both cried. Well, of course, Portia's like, whoa, what happened to her? Like, is she at home? Like, is she here? Like, what? And he explained that she passed away.
River of ice.
Yeah. Like, wow. And then I was like, oh, that'd be funny if Miss Sweet Sapphire came out, to join the But he says he's too busy to ever think about getting married again. And they spot Doug and Carol smooching with a rainbow over their heads. No, it did not look real. And that is end of part 1.
So I will say this. They did such a better job than the previous ones we've seen in terms of, if you really think about it, this was all set up. The whole thing was set up. The amount of stuff that happens in the second part is like insane, but it didn't feel rushed, stretched, anything.
I'll say that the second part went by so fast.
There's so many things that happen.
But the way it was spaced out, you know what I mean? Like the notes were, because well, you'll see. I mean, a lot happened, but it was a weird switchback. It was kind of.
I agree with that. The other thing that helps with these travel episodes, these new place episodes, is stuff that is filler is new.
Right.
So they had a ton of time fill in here, right? But it was like, oh, that's not the same stupid overhead boat shot we've seen. It's like
you couldn't, because imagine if they used the same old shots of them in like
sunny Acapulco.
But they just add the American Girls, so it just gives it the
and a mountain lion
and a mountain lion. I mean, we haven't had an animal yet this season. I mean, it's early, but
first episode.
It's the first,
and Natalie a little.
Would you think one of these rich people would have had some kind of pet?
I'm surprised that chauffeur didn't have Irving the snake, since it was just Anderson,
or a seal or something.
Canadian goose,
moose or goose or whatever. Yeah. Carol's having a bachelorette party, and all the ladies are gathered. Natalie's there. Oh boy. She says something snarky to Carol. Carol says, blow it out your ear.
Well, and even before that, she's talking crap to the bridesmaids who are her best friends. Like, what are you?
Why didn't they?
Well, but they
all the
did a
people,
little. They did a little, but it's
not
just
as
like,
much as they should have. It was a bimbo move, just like.
what's Natalie? She just doesn't care.
Is she intimidating? Because she just doesn't give a shit?
I just don't think she even acknowledges that Carol is in the same game here.
I think it's like the caste system. I think she feels like
Yeah.
she's just so many steps higher.
Yep.
You know, that it doesn't even.
Well, I mean, she never. This is why she's a true villain. She never does a face turn, even at the end.
No, because in her mind, she's not doing anything wrong. Those are the best villains.
Yep.
Like, what are you talking about? Oh, she's a great wrestling villain. Good Lord, she's great.
Really is. Yeah.
Natalie tells Carol that she'll never fit in with the Bradbury family, and she walks away. That's par for the course. You kind of expect that from Natalie. I mean, she said it. Her actions said that. She's just.
And you always gotta leave on a zinger.
Oh yeah, you can't go out. She's got to have like some like.
Well, plus she had to go get into that cake. So.
Well, it's true. She had to get into a metal bikini. That's what she had to do. Good Lord. Carol says she's meeting Doug on deck after the bachelor party for some moonlight smooching.
Bachelor dinner. Sorry.
Bachelor dinner. I thought this was odd. So we're in the Pirates Cove.
Arr.
We're in the Pirates Cove. My question about this bachelor party is, why are the crew here? Like drinking
That's so
giant
funny.
beers.
I had the exact.
What are they?
I had the exact same thing. It's like you're working it. This would have been like at my bachelor party if the staff at the restaurant we went to would have if they would have like come to the bar afterwards with us.
Yeah, it was odd, very odd to me.
Usually in the context of, well, it's like usually in the context of like when they're having dinner or they're doing stuff. It's like, well, they work shifts and whatever.
Right.
But it's like everyone at this party knows each other. It is a private event, for lack of a better term. And yeah, not only are they at it, they are like holding court at it. Weird.
The thing is, they don't even.
They really shouldn't have been at the wedding.
No, they don't even know these people. Like, get at it. You guys work here. I don't want to party with the captain and the doctor. Like, I want you to be there honestly, and run the ship. Be professional.
And don't you think Alicia would be hoity-toity enough that she would be like, this would be a, don't let the downstairs people eat with us kind of thing.
That's a very good point. I was thinking the same thing. I think it would be the same thing. Oh, wait, this isn't for staff. Well, it'd almost be like Steubing helping himself to like the wedding the buffet in the beginning. Like, what are you doing? Like, you work here. You're staff. It's weird. It was weird.
Just taking a big bite of the wedding cake.
No kidding. Like the biggest bite. Like the first bite. Yeah.
Yeah.
We just see a giant.
Puts his hands behind and
he catches the bouquet. He did the whole thing. We see a giant cake. Uh-oh. You know what's going to happen here. Who could possibly jump out of this cake, Mike? Here comes Natalie in a tiny silver bikini, and she lays a big smooch on Doug, and everyone's cheering. Yay! Even Buddy is. Like, wait, why is everyone cheering
not,
for
though?
this? Was it Doug?
The best man.
Oh,
no, Marv.
Knows.
Marv called. Yeah, Marv knew.
A good man. Marv knew.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid Doug. Nothing. Doesn't even register. That guy's such a bimbo. It's just.
Have you ever had that? Have you ever been anywhere where that actually happened in real life? The cake thing? I've never actually seen it.
I've never seen it. I've always heard it's
a very
thing, but I've never.
Yeah.
I mean, it was big. Well, no, that's not true. I was a chef. I worked in the kitchen when I was in the Navy. They kind of put me there. I was a troublemaker, and girl pops out of a cake. Tommy Lee Jones tries to take the ship. But that's the last time. It was. I don't
it's
know,
almost like you were.
It's almost
like you were below duress or something.
Exactly. It's like the GoBots. Exactly. Oh, that's funny. Uh, Alicia catches Peter. Peter's walking on deck. I'm sorry. Sees Carol, who's waiting for Doug, who doesn't show up for the midnight smooches. Although I think it's kind of a weird thing to be like, meet me after the bachelor party. It's almost like you're putting like a thing in place to make you behave.
Well, it's also, this is just not something that happens anymore, or at least my experiences, is the old school bachelor party the night before.
Oh, God.
I mean, I know for a fact my bachelor party the next morning, I could not have functioned.
No.
I could barely get to the bar the next day, let alone be in a wedding. So,
yeah, I can't imagine that.
Yeah, having them back-to-back days seems like a stupid idea. Good job, everybody.
Yeah, good job, guys. And you're on a ship, too. I bet you a hangover's way worse if you're on a ship.
Especially if you're not used to it.
Yeah, like the horizon moving and...
Yeah.
Peter tells her she'll be a beautiful bride. She tells Peter that he should stay for the wedding. Alicia catches Peter walking in the moonlight and properly invites him to his son's wedding. And Peter says, thank you. Huh.
It's all working out.
It's all working out. What could go wrong?
Nothing could happen to Peter now. So.
Nope. He'll be fine. After the party, Doug stumbles back to his cabin to find Natalie there wearing his shirt and nothing else. Boy, she had a whole plan.
Yeah.
Like, good Lord. Doug immediately passes out in the bed.
And I will say this. I know it's a ship, so it's not as fraught with danger.
Right.
Bad job by your friends. You make sure the groom gets home okay.
Where's Marv?
Right. Where's anybody? Like, just, walk the groom back.
And to me, I mean, I feel like that is specifically a job for the best man.
Yes, I agree.
If you have a best man, some people don't have a best man. Some people, because that's a weird thing too. If you have a group of like close friends, that best man thing is rough.
That's why if you have one brother, it's the easiest thing in the world.
Exactly.
Yep.
But then what if you have two brothers?
That's hard.
Like I have two brothers and I had like friends. So I just was like, well, nobody's.
Well, that's why I was very glad that my wife had a small wedding party, because the first two were easy. The third would have been tough. So
I was hoping you were going to go to the opposite. You have to get like 18. You're like, let's see how shallow this water gets.
Oh, that would have been. We just would have eloped at that point. So
put a tuxedo on, reuse the bat. Like I would use that one. Buddy walks Portia back to her cabin when he almost reveals that he likes her, but then stops. It's a very moonlighting sort of tension thing happening here.
That is quite a shirt that he's wearing.
Yeah.
That like yellow checkered job.
That's a bold.
Yeah.
Imagine what's in his suit. What's hanging up in that dude's closet. He's got like.
What do you think he like sleeps in? Like
turquoise.
Everything is
all turquoise. 10 rings.
I think he's got those like lumberjack pajamas.
Pajamas. And they even have their own bolo tie. He puts a bolo tie on. Buddy and Portia part ways after a handshake, but you could feel the tension between the two of them.
Oh yeah, she almost invited him in.
She almost did. He was waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to our first commercial break. Mike, we made it. We're in Skagway, Alaska now. Eureka. We finally made it here.
Took a while.
Took a while. I wonder how long it would really take, because I feel like that's a really long trip. If you have to bring the boat up the dotted line, to Vancouver, and that's all right.
But then they whip around the horn for the other spot.
Oh yeah, like they do, and then they're in a pond with glaciers. I'm like, is that the safest thing to do? Is it iceberg ready? Isn't this what happened to the Titanic? Jeez. Carol's wearing her wedding dress in her cabin and calls Doug. Oh snap, Mike. Natalie answers the phone and Carol hangs up, and she is pissed.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Natalie smooches a sleeping Doug, just a single smooch, on the cheek and leaves the cabin.
It's nice. Do you think she did something else when he was asleep?
Oh, come on. She's devious.
Yeah.
She would have done something so crazy to like entrap to make it look like it. She had all night just sitting in that chair. She's a villain. A villain, Mike. Best man Ralph Malph arrives at Doug's cabin. Well, he arrives, but he can't get in. He's just knocking on the door. But Doug is, you know,
Yeah, like,
Doug,
well, we get a wellness check here.
geez, how? No kidding. The phone ringing didn't wake you up. The knocking,
It is a level of drunk that probably is not realistic.
not with beer. They were just drinking beer.
Well, not just that, but like
Molson.
you got to be functional tomorrow. You made the drinks the night before my wedding. I had one drink because I was like, I need to be a little careful. So
I just want everyone to have a good time. You know what I mean? A little heavy. Yeah. Those were good drinks in my defense, though. In my defense,
they were. Although
it
was weird. Drink. It was weird that I woke up with you in my bed wearing just top half pajamas.
Yeah, it was. Everyone's like, so that's where that comes from. We're like, not a word, not a word. We were docking it. That's funny. Steubing catches Peter and delivers Peter's prescription refill, expressing concern for his new friend. Peter says, if there's one thing I've learned in my life, it's the fact that everything is only as big as you make it. Acting. We see Doug and Ralph racing down flights of stairs. Doug, this is the pre-run. He's getting his pre-run on.
He's getting loose.
Can you imagine somebody all hungover and been out of shape, and he's just, okay, now he's in track mode. This is just...
I got married on the same grounds as where I was staying, and that would have been a terrible run. I can't imagine running across Alaska.
Up, down steps, off a ship, and across a glacier river.
In a parking lot?
It sounds like how Buddy the Elf, remember, he floated down the Gumdrop River. Doug wants to see Carol because, he missed Midnight Smooches, but Alicia stops him. You can't go see her now. I mean, that's like completely frowned upon.
It's bad luck.
Bad luck. But I mean, Buddy arrives at Carol's cabin to find her crying and not in her wedding dress. At this point, I'm like, Buddy's going to beat the crap out of Doug.
Yeah.
And maybe he should, because I don't believe... Buddy goes into Carol's cabin to find out what's going on. Buddy gets the wedding site, announces the wedding's off.
Man, cell phones would have saved people a lot of legwork here.
Or a CB, something.
Yeah, they should have convoyed it.
Like megaphone, something.
Breaker. This wedding is a maker.
Or Steubing with two sticks, like something. Is this a communicating? He tells Doug he better go work things out. And here we go, Mike. And Doug begins to run. And run.
And he's just running.
Just keeps on running. And it's dangerous because those rental shoes are not built for running. There's no traction on them.
Not Alaska. There's ice at minimum.
Absolutely. Tells everyone there'll be no wedding because Carol changed her mind. This is Buddy. Portia walks up and says, what a shame to let all of this go to waste. It's a little quick here, my friend. They both agree that if a wedding is paid for, there should probably be one. And in a story twist, Portia and Buddy say, why not? So it's weird that you're too shy to say that you like somebody or too shy to invite somebody in, but not too shy to say, screw it, let's just get married.
So in this scenario, right, if you were at my wedding,
yeah,
and then somebody comes out and says there'll be no wedding, but instead it's what? My aunt marries my wife's grandfather. Is that what happens?
Something like that.
That would be weird, right?
I don't know if I would stay. I wouldn't stay.
It is odd. It is very odd.
But it's just like, because we set up some folding chairs. Well, we can't waste that manpower. We might as well marry somebody. Like, you don't have to.
Yeah, it's not like the reception's there. They spend a grand total of 12 minutes at this site.
And it's not like it's the end of the world where it's like, I need to get married before midnight before the world explodes.
Right. This isn't a Paul Williams situation.
There's no deadlines here. It's just weird. Besides, don't they live here? Aren't they dropping them off here?
I can't
Why
get
don't
a
they
sense.
stay there?
I don't know if they still live in Alaska or that they just have a place in Alaska. Because you're right.
Fair enough.
Because the weird part is, at some point, Lauren Green and Mrs. Roper just leave the show. So they're not actually there for their wedding.
No.
So
that's a good point.
Yeah.
So Portia and Buddy decided to get married. More running from Doug. The wedding has begun for Portia and Buddy, and Julie's having another flashback. Because let's make it all about yourself, Julie. You know, every time you see a wedding. She and Jack having coffee by the pool. Jack says how much he loves her, and Julie says it back. Boy, they're really setting up for this fall. Good Lord, man.
Yeah. Now, if you remember, that was literally the next morning that they had met.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
A little quick for a man with kids. It's a little irresponsible to be throwing out the L word, in my opinion. So quick after you. That's just weird, but that's just me. Doug's still running. Portia and Buddy are now officially married. And Doug has stopped running. He reaches the ship for more running. He's running again. He's on running on the ship. Doug finds Carol on the deck, explains everything about Natalie, and professes his love, saying he can't wait to marry her. Okay, this is what I'm saying. He's like, well, if something happened, she just took advantage of me. That was his...
Yeah.
That was the get out of jail free card?
She backed down way quicker than he deserved, because it's not like
he can't be
that happened and that's the first time she's had problems with Natalie, right? Like, this is like, put yourself in that situation. It's not just that it happened. It's the person that it happened with. Well, you know,
it's just generally a consideration issue.
Yeah,
like it didn't dawn on you, like, oh, I was so she must have taken and dumb old common man Carol is just like, okay, it's fine.
Well, the thing is, by making a joke, you're not treating it with the respect that it deserves, because this is not right. Like, you needed to like ball up and say something.
I screwed up. Own it a little bit. And the other thing that's weird is...
I screwed up, but also I'm going to tell Natalie to stay in Skarsgård, or she can sit in Glacier Bay. So...
Also, how is he not out of breath? Damn you, Mark Harmon. You bimbo, but you're in great shape, sir.
Exactly.
I couldn't run 28 miles like he did over ice. And we go, Carol forgives him and they start smooching, and apparently now they're going back to cabin to rehearse for their honeymoon for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And how about, hey, assholes, all these people got on this boat to see you get married. It's right there.
Yeah.
How about you put your clothes on? He's already dressed and get there. Let's go.
And again, like, I know there's no phones, right? But it can't be that far. You just ran from it. So it's like,
go run back.
Yeah.
You know, just something. It's at his place. It's not like they're renting a place. The guy officiant is on the boat.
That's true.
What's the problem?
That is surprising. They didn't even give that a consideration. So,
well, the other thing too, and this is the thing I wanted to bring up, and I mentioned before about the officiant. I thought there was a missed opportunity here to have Meryl perform the ceremony, right? Like, he gets food poisoning, he's stuck at the Alaska thing, he can't get back on the boat. Like, I felt like they could have done something there. Maybe that's but like, I don't know. I thought it would have been a cool.
Because we're still only at the one, right?
What do you mean?
He only married the Scarecrow.
Yeah.
That's surprising. I would have thought we would have seen more by now.
But I thought this was a perfect opportunity to do it.
He's done.
I thought maybe that's what the totem pole's for. He's like, I can't go to the totem pole. We're back from break. Alicia tells Peter that she's bankrupt because of stupidity and greed. She's worried.
All of it? You lost all of the money?
Lost all of it. She's worried that Buddy Bowers won't want his granddaughter marrying Doug because now the family is broke. You don't know Buddy very well because he is a common man. He
Well,
wouldn't do that.
Yeah. Well, and even Peter is like, Buddy Bowers doesn't care about
He don't
that.
give two craps. He knows. Peter says it's a terrible way to think. Because remember, he had a hard time being married to someone who was rich. All right. Portia and Buddy catch Doug and Carol smooching by Muir Glacier, I guess. And everyone hugs. So Doug and Carol can get dressed. Oh, they were on the ship doing this. Or no, were they off the ship? I thought they were in the cat.
No, they were on the ship.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doug
My
and Carol
guess
are gonna
is my guess is that Buddy and Portia ran back to the thing.
Yeah. That makes
Everybody
sense.
else straggles back or something like that,
Doug and Carol are gonna find they're gonna go find the pastor and get married. Julie's watching pieces of glaciers fall into the sea. Oh boy. Ralph tells her the wedding is back on. Julie says she's decided to say yes to Jack. All right, a lot of switching coming here. We're taking it home now. Peter's talking with Doug when Alicia comes over. Assumes he told Doug that she's broke. Oops. Now Doug knows. Now Doug's upset because the same situation his parents were in.
Yeah.
Carol has money and Doug is broke.
We're going to end up just like you.
Right. It's going to be like, wedding off.
That's how
so again, now the wedding's off again.
Yeah.
The wedding's on, the wedding's off. Now the wedding's on,
you know
the
what?
wedding's off.
I'm not a marriage expert, but here's the thing.
It's not a good sign.
If you call your wedding off twice in the same day, that's it. Don't get married. Don't get married.
Just move on. Just break up.
It's okay.
Really, just
it's
break
okay.
up.
But yeah.
Don't. Yeah, no kidding. Twice in the same day.
Twice in the same hour, basically. So.
I will say this. This is a good time as any. I was married and divorced, right, years ago. It's the day of my wedding. I might have been having a few second thoughts, but I thought it was normal. And then all of a sudden, my stomach was literally exploding. We are 20 minutes away from vows. I'm in this giant Catholic church. And and I'm beginning to think this was a terrible mistake. My best man comes to the bathroom door where I'm at. He knocks and I'm like, yeah. He goes, are you okay? And I go, I think I'm making a huge mistake. And he goes, I will go get the car right now and we'll get out of here.
There you go. That's a good best man.
And I remember sitting there in the bathroom, crapping my brains out, trying to figure out. He had to ask them for, Mike needs another 10 minutes. So there's already a little,
stirring, murmuring in the crowd.
Yeah.
I've never been to a wedding where that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a weird one. Yeah. Little inside baseball. But yeah, that was, that's a big decision to have to, you know what I mean? Because even in my situation, I'm thinking it was bigger than me. All these people are gathered,
the logistics,
and paid all this money, and how could I possibly be this selfish to not it's a whole thing. So to cancel it twice, to your point, just warning, Will Robinson, stop.
This is worse because you've made people travel. I mean, I don't know if you saw that map. They're traveling miles and miles.
I don't know if you saw the dotted line. That's just wedding's off. Says it would never work out. And he tells Carol, says he can't get married. It just won't work out.
But isn't honest with her.
Doesn't explain anything
at all.
Because he's a dummy. He's just
he's
vapid,
not a great guy.
Box of rocks.
Yeah.
We go to our third commercial break, and we're back. Peter's talking to Alicia and admits to always trying to. Alicia admits to him that she's always trying to control people, and this is when Peter goes into the whole "live your life one day at a time" that whole thing. And he's like, I like to live my life like I have 6 months to live, which went right over Alicia's head. She was like, oh, that sounds wonderful. Wonderful, Peter. Peter says one day at a time. I wrote here, this is acting. Feel like Pete is a shoe-in for at least the best old Stubby. who's going to be better than this guy?
I mean,
It's
there's it
there'll
well,
be
honestly,
nominees.
we're gonna I mean the Lauren Green and Mrs. Roper too. Like
That's what I'm saying.
this
Every nominee is going to be from this
category is
episode.
hot and heavy.
I like the ceiling's going up. I love it.
Yeah.
Julie goes to see Captain Steubing on the bridge. She quits her job.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Why is Steubing working at 2 a.m.?
Why does she go tell him this at 2 a.m.? What kind of...
Well, because I think she's...
Is that when the best decisions are made at 2? Yeah, because she's crazy.
Well, okay. Well, to be fair, Steubing is the one who comes closest to actually being like, have you talked to him recently?
And good point. He says, Julie says that she tried to call, but when he answered, she hung up. So like now, sight unseen, you're just going to roll up.
Now, here's the thing. When they said that, I'm like, oh my God. Now,
we know.
When she eventually gets there, you at least find out they've been writing letters or had been writing letters. So it wasn't like talk to you.
They didn't say that she just stopped,
and then suddenly,
right?
But still.
Like she cut all communication because she was probably moving on. And then they come to Alaska and she's like, oh, snap. Why not?
Right. But at the moment where we find out she has not called him on this trip, we think that she has had no communication with him since she off the boat. So,
well, we'll get a little more info on that here in a moment. But absolutely, Julie says Jack's going to be so excited when she tells him that she wants to get married. Oh boy, Doug is moping in the Pirates Cove. Natalie comes up and says that he and Carol are meant to be. This is great. Natalie, a villain through and through. Love it. She's so consistent. Yep. I wish she was on every episode. Like, let Natalie show up every fourth episode and be a villain. Doug tells Natalie Alicia's now broke, and Natalie quickly says, Doug who? And she's gone.
Yeah.
Oof.
He's like, no more jet planes, no more cruises. It'll probably be the bus. You on board for that? And she doesn't even say anything. She's just gone. Gets up and leaves.
Walks away. It was. She won't even dignify it with an answer because now he's too low for her. She's like, I don't.
It would have been great if she had jumped back into that giant cake.
She's like with her hand, like pulling it back, like trying to put it away.
It down.
Yeah,
like it's a tank.
She just jumps off the boat. I'm out. See ya
later, losers. I'm gonna go marry that priest.
No kidding. All right, Mike. Here's the worst part of the episode here, and worst, I mean just sad. Julie arrives by cab to what I assume is Jack's house. There's a big lake, snowy mountains, and he's standing on his deck fishing. And Julie runs up and gives him a big hug and kiss. He does kiss her back, but then he sort of pulls away. And I'm thinking,
I was going to say, this is too much kissing for someone who is
way
married.
Too much. It could have been like, whoa, hey. You know, like, no.
Yeah, you got a stiff arm there.
No, slow your roll. Jack starts talking about how he thought she moved on. They never talked and she never wrote. And he finally says that he's married to somebody else.
So the way they frame it is that they were corresponding for a little bit.
And then she just stopped.
But then Julie stops writing. To your point, maybe this is when Paul Burke shows up or whatever.
Or any older gentleman she wants to throw herself at.
So here's my question. Writing, fine. It's charming. It's romantic, all that stuff. But like, how about a phone call? Right? How about a couple phone calls just in general?
Well, it's not like Julie's on this ship like every day of her life.
Right.
You don't go home and pick up a phone?
I mean, honestly, why the fact that she never went, we looked it up during the last time that they were on together. Yeah. Like, it's a 5-hour flight, I think.
Right.
You know, Julie's got money.
In the travel industry. Yeah. Well, she has money because she never has a chance to spend it because she's always on the damn boat.
Right. Yeah, she
So
could have gotten on that French guy's plane.
she she would have saved a week,
Yeah,
maybe 2 weeks.
exactly.
Or so Julie tells Jack she loves him, and she runs away crying. We have another person running now.
So
Poor Julie.
I do want to say, because I know you were kind of mocking the fact that Tony Roberts was not in this very much, and he wasn't. Tony Roberts is a movie person at this point. He's got. I think the fact that A, he did this, and B, they had somebody do this is a very good sign in terms of like that would happen today, right? You would have somebody come in for one scene or something like that. This show has never done that.
No, it's the first time.
This was
as much as it's not the actor, it's the Jack Chanot, which I just don't like. You know what I mean? This guy is a great actor.
Just what's he supposed to? What's your issue with Chanot here? What did he do wrong?
I just feel bad for Julie.
I agree. I feel bad for Julie, but
it's misdirected, not anger, but just frustration. Because it's like they set it all up, and you get all these flashbacks and that, and I'm like, oh man.
Even though you knew what was happening, it was worse, and I think it was worse because, like I said earlier, so last season. We didn't necessarily agree on this, but I thought it was a culmination of all the lessons Julie had learned. The fact that she was mature enough to know that she couldn't marry this guy.
Right.
And while it was sad, I thought it was a huge victory. And so to then go from that to this, which is not only did you basically kind of undo everything you did with that decision, but you didn't, you set yourself up for such a possibility of, to your point, even if he wasn't home, like the fact that you didn't even make contact just made her very immature.
Well, and think about it too, is we said too about, about a phone call. She had his number, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's, I get it. I get it.
He seems to have moved on pretty quickly though.
Yeah, I guess we don't really know how much time it was, but in our world, it's basically 8 months or something like that.
Yeah, that's quick, man. Well, even if it was a year, you met someone, dated them, and got married within a year.
Well, I mean, he proposed to her 2 days on the boat. I think he's looking for a mom.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think
it's hard raising 2 kids by yourself, I would imagine, in Alaska when you're just trying to fish.
You just want to fish all day.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Julie's back on the ship. She sees the crew, and the crew sees something's wrong. She tells them Jack is married to somebody else. Says she'll be all right after a long cry.
I did like that part. I did like the fact that she was like, she didn't pretend, right? It was just, she was able to be honest with them. I do think they didn't, except for Steubing, didn't really do her a lot of favors in terms of not trying to pump the brakes a little bit.
Man, they should have been like, just call him before you go.
Yeah.
That's what I would have said.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Hanging up. Come on.
That's high school. Yeah.
Exactly. Natalie joins Carol having breakfast and tells her that the Bradburys are bankrupt. She says, I guess that makes Doug infinitely less interesting, wouldn't you say? Carol delivers the worst working slap I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
it's the worst. It's the worst contact we've seen, I think.
The fake noise, like can noise. It was just I love the idea of the slap, but if you're going to do it, you'd think somebody, a granddaughter of a common man, would know how to smack somebody. And it was like that. Smack. It was terrible choreography, I should say.
But it is followed by Natalie rubbing her face a little bit.
And
then she says, always a peasant.
Villain. She should get her own spin-off called The Meanest Lady on the Boat.
And I think that's a series wrap for Natalie. I don't think we see her again. So that's
I don't think so either.
And again, the best villains, she got comeuppance, but she didn't try to go back on anything. It
No,
was
she
yeah,
stuck to her principles.
good for her.
I don't agree with her principles, but I
No,
respect the fact that she had integrity.
she left it all on the field. I guess the only thing she didn't
100%.
do was literally force herself on Mark Harmon when he was unconscious.
That
And
we know of.
I guess we
That
don't
much.
even really know if that
Yeah, we
happened
don't.
or
Boy,
not.
that probably happened. It probably happened. Because she's going to stay there all night in that chair. Stop it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's unlikely. In top pajamas.
Yeah, Jezebel. Jeez.
Like at the very least, you gotta like
Something.
like
Oh, that's funny. Carol leaves to find Doug. Says that she knows about the money stuff and doesn't care. She hates all the money stuff. And we're smooching again. I guess the wedding's back on. God knows at this point.
Third time's a charm.
Third time's the charm. Ralph finds Julie sobbing alone on the deck and admits that it's her fault for setting herself up. Ralph comforts her when Julie tries to kiss him, and he's like, whoa. Classy move. Classy move. Tells Julie that she needs a friend more than a lover. And I wrote, good for you, Ralph. Good for you.
So a couple things. First of all, he says, rather be friend than waste everything for a night of rebounding, which it's interesting. I just never thought of rebound being a term back then.
I don't think it's the appropriate term because I always thought rebounding was more of like a relationship than it was like an act. But maybe
it can be. I don't know. I could see that being the same thing. My issue with this is she goes in to hug Ralph, who is being sympathetic, and she slides up and does like the face grab, starts to try and make out.
Yeah.
And that is, I've seen that. I may have been involved in some of those. Like that is bad news.
That. Yeah.
When you're trying to be the bigger person and this person is doing that, that is not fair to Ralph. And it is sad because it is I mean, we've all done it, right? But it is
gotta walk away, man. You just gotta walk away.
It sucks for Julie because
but it sucks even more for Ralph in a way. And not even more, but because if I'm Ralph, I don't know if I could look at Julie the same way after she did that. Because to me, I'm just kind of like, that's not what I want. You know what I mean? I don't want that quality.
And it just makes you see how hurt she is, which sucks.
She's a mess right now.
Yeah.
Doug and Carol get married on the ship the next day. Yay. Yay. Final break, Mike. Bring this sucker home. The ship arrives back in L.A. Peter and Alicia leave the ship together. That's a long cruise if they had to go all the way back to L.A., by the way.
Plus, I mean, are they all from Los Angeles? What if I live in Vancouver?
Yeah. No, we only stop on the way up there. Gopher has one last chance at the bridesmaids. This is kind of funny. He can't decide which one to pick. He picks Sandy. Doc picks Nancy. Doc leaves with Nancy. Sandy meets her husband, who is picking her up. Wah, wah.
I thought it would have been hysterical if she's like, "Oh no, my husband's here," and it's Jimmy in the wheelchair from the Debbie Allen episode.
Oh, that would be great. Or Mike Kelly, just somebody, just some alpha in a chair who's just not going to take it.
Yeah, it was funny. Like whoever that was, they didn't even give him a face.
Mm-mm.
Like she jumped him right away. So I wonder if it was like a contest winner or something.
Or they cast somebody with an athletic back.
Yes.
Let's see you in a jacket. And Gopher rips up the Alaska fact book, which made me laugh. Ralph's leaving the ship. Julie and Ralph hug. Steuben gives Julie a telegram. Do we really need to do this again here? Like, it's from Jack, and we hear his voice. He says he's happy, and he and his daughters love his new wife. That's great. But
thanks for putting that in there.
Yeah, thank the fuck. They also never stopped loving Julie McCoy.
Yeah, it was like that felt like "And the Wind Says Mariah."
What are you doing, Jack? Doug and Carol are walking down the stairs in the lobby. They're about to twist the knife again, Mike.
Oh yeah.
And Julie catches the bouquet, and I said, "That's just mean." Why did she throw that shit down? Like, that's the end of the episode.
With that. Like she gets the freeze frame.
I did not like that ending
That
at
is
all.
that is
And just a sneak peek, they do one more thing coming up.
I know. Do you think that it was Lisa Hartman's revenge from the Disco Joey stuff that she threw that bouquet right at Julie's?
It's Carol is the disco. She just moved on. Yeah, no kidding. And that's a wrap on season 3, episode 1 and 2. Whew, I'm sweating, Mike. That was a workout.
So totals and a recap. Obviously, this is the first episode, and we generally don't include two-parters, but I gotta think we're gonna include the two-parter moving forward.
Yeah.
This was obviously the best and worst episode, but this was, I would say, the best two-parter that we've had,
without a doubt.
Yeah,
head and shoulders better than the season 2, like you said. Better than the other season. This is way better. Way better.
And I'm excited to see if this is the template that we get for these travel episodes. Because there are some of those coming, and like I said, it just doesn't feel, the chances of you having, like the Julie's reunion one, right? That was 2 parts. Like the chances of you having 6 good storylines is impossible. So to do something like this, where the travel piece of it is kind of doing a lot of the work.
I like the formula. I think it's an easy formula. Okay, where are we going to take them now? If it's a 2-parter, let us go somewhere.
Yeah, make it different. Make it significantly different than the normal episode. Because now I'll be happy to go back to a normal episode next week.
Yeah, I will. I mean, the next milestone, really, obviously the first one was the season 3 2-parter. Vicky's,
Vicky's coming, yeah.
So
we're only a couple episodes from that, yeah, and then we have another 2-parter. So, Captain of the Week.
This was not, well, it's easy, but it's not easy, right? It to me, it's Buddy. He was so likable. I wanted to say if it would be Buddy and Portia combined, because I just like them and their storylines so much.
Yep.
So if I had to do that, it would be Buddy / Portia.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely fair. I'm going to give it to Natalie just because it is the best, maybe the best villain. It's either her or Stanfield. It's just the best version of a villain that we've ever seen. And it shows that you can have that on this show. You don't have to have these lukewarm milquetoast. I'm kind of a villain, but also, it's like, let's go. We're adults.
They're all in. I want to see it be all in, because it's more believable if you are. Don't be wishy-washy. And Natalie is nothing if she's not wishy-washy.
No, it's gonna be hard to get a better villain than her. And if we do get a better villain than her, then we are gonna have a great season 3. So,
and I kind of approached it as far as like, my Natalie is sort of Captain of the Week, but it's also the walk the plank for me, because she gets a round of booze. But I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she's a heel, man. Like, I can't cheer her, and she doesn't want you to cheer her.
But what I mean? I will flip the coin there and say that, to me, same reason, that makes Mark Harmon walk the plank.
I can't disagree with that. I
feel like he could have shut that down at any time if he wanted to.
He didn't have a spine. It's funny. I did think about that until we talked about it this evening. 100%. What is he, just oblivious? That's the guy you want to marry who doesn't even like.
It's one of two things, right? You're oblivious or you kind of like the attention. But once your wife literally says to you, like, I don't like this woman.
Right.
She's in love with you.
Like, that's
you
it.
You got to stop. You got to shut it down. So, also, obviously, the whole Julie thing, just, I feel like they should have fleshed out the resistance piece a little bit more.
1,000%.
Like, she should have tried to call and not gotten an answer, and they should have shown that or something.
Something that,
little bit where
the gap is too wide in that story. I think they could have done something.
Just a little. Just a little bit. Or they could have mentioned the letters that they had written before we get to Tony Roberts, right? Just a little.
They were so focused on those flashbacks. I think they could have used some of that time to...
We didn't need the flashbacks.
We didn't need any of
Come on, that episode aired 6 months ago.
Well, it's not like they were like, you know, we weren't discovering any new piece of information as a result of the flashbacks. Oh, he loves her. Okay, we get it. We already knew this. There's no nooks, no wonderful. There's nothing there. It's just
The interesting thing is, I wonder how much of that was, because they only had Tony Roberts for the one scene. Was that trying to get more Tony Roberts in there too? So
got paid by the word, apparently.
Yeah, that's totals and a recap for the season premiere.
Plugs, hidden season Patreon, absolutely hammered. Whether you're cheering from the stands or tuning in from home, this is the podcast you need. So grab your bat, your cap, and your Phillies pride, crack open a beer, and enjoy a weekly Phillies happy hour with Chris Jones, Justin Clue, and our very own Mike Robertson. Check out Absolutely Hammered on the Hitting Season Patreon. You can find us everywhere you find your audio podcasts: iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, iHeartRadio. Got some new ones. Podcast Addict, Amazon Music, Podchaser, Player FM, Podcast Audio, Listen Notes, Deezer, and my new favorite, Pocket Casts. Please hit that subscribe button and leave a review. It really helps.
Are they those little like mini digital recorders that we used to have as kids?
Little tiny microphones. You just do a little, please hit that subscribe button, leave a review. Check out our video podcast on YouTube. Also hit that subscribe button and leave a review. You can
watch the YouTube. Sorry, you can watch the YouTube video when a bug attacks me during this episode.
Yeah, I want to see what that looks like. That was awesome. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook. Look for weekly reels and updates. You can also email us at theloveboatproject@gmail.com. No mail today, sir.
No mail? Today. You're off that whole off season?
I know. Nothing.
We're going to get so much mail for our special bonus episode.
Oh, I've already asked Google for more.
Stubbies just came out. Like, come on.
I called Google the other day, or called my Gmail to see if I could get more room in that email account. Next episode, Mike. Oof. We welcome an ex-cruise director who gave up her career for marriage. Really?
And Julie's envious of her.
What?
So,
good Lord. Now,
I'll be curious to see if they reference what happened this week in part of the enviousness.
Wow, she's married to somebody named Jack, too. Like, it's going to be...
Or it is Jack.
Oh, that's who she got married to. And we also see a boyfriend annoys his girlfriend with talk about the stages of love, not to be confused with the language of love, poolside performance from season 2. And finally, next episode, we will meet a stuffy valet named Perkins. And that ought to be fun.
Like, of the restaurant chain?
Of the restaurant. Apparently he loves pancakes. Yes.
Just a heads up for those of you who watch along with us. I think The Grass is Greener is one of the titles, but be careful if you watch on Paramount Plus. I think they shoved this one in the season 2 episodes. So just make sure you're watching the right one. You wouldn't want to be confused and miss out on yet another Julie in the face. So.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
Also, Adam Rich is in it.
That's right.
Next week.
Love Adam Rich.
The Big Ragu is in it.
Oh, I can't wait.
Hope he sings.
Well, that's it, Mike. We did it. Episode 52 is in the books. All right. Until next time, I'm your host, Mike Taylor. With me, as always, my co-host, Mike Robertson. Anything to say before we get out of here?
You still can't sign off.
I can't sign off. I got nothing.
You should just run like Mark Harmon at the end of every episode. Just run.
I could join the next episode late as if I just joined it from running.
Yeah.
All right. That's it, everyone. Thanks for joining. See you next time.